The following is a class on Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 4, text number 38, given by His Grace Sriman Sankarshan Das Adhikari, recorded on May 11th, 2008, in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Bhagavad Gita 4:38. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Vadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. So, there's one thing for sure. Everybody's looking for happiness. Is there anybody here who doesn't want to taste bliss at every minute? Is there any exceptions to this principle? Is there anybody here who doesn't want to taste the nectar at every minute? Is there anybody here who would like to drink poison right now? If I gave you a cup of poison right now, would you want to drink it? Any volunteers? No. Nobody wants poison. Everybody wants to taste the nectar. So, Krishna is describing here where the real nectar is, you see. So why are so few people taking this nectar? Why is it that 99.99999999999% of the population are drinking poison? Does anyone know the answer? It is simply due to ignorance. In the United States history, there's a famous period called the 1849 California Gold Rush. In 1849, somebody discovered gold in California. So there was a mad rush all over from California was way, way across the big wilderness in the middle, but thousands of people streamed into California to get that gold, you see. And many people thought they had found gold. But when they went to cash it in, they found out it was worthless.
да го продадат, за да вземат пари, се оказва, че то не е така ценно.
It was iron pyrite, it wasn't gold. Iron pyrite looks like gold, you see.
Това не е било злато, всъщност това е бил някакъв вид железен пирит, който изглежда като злато.
But it's not real gold, you see.
Не е истинско злато.
So here in this material world, you see, here in Sofia, Bulgaria,
Така в този материален свят тук в София, България,
everybody wants gold.
всички искат злато.
But practically everyone here is getting iron pyrite instead.
Но практически всички получават железен пирит.
They used to call iron pyrite fool's gold.
Те наричат железния пирит злато на инерците.
The fool thinks he has gold, you see.
Но пак си мисли, че има злато.
But it is not actual gold. It is fool's gold only.
Но всъщност това не е злато, това е злато за глупците.
So if you ask people in Sofia, are you happy? Practically everyone would say, oh yes, I'm happy.
И когато питаме хората в София, вие щастливи ли си?
I've got the gold.
Всички отговарят, да, щастливи сме, имаме
What
злато.
do they actually have?
Но това, което всъщност имат,
Fool's gold.
е златото на глупците.
Fool's happiness.
Златото на щастието на глупаците.
They don't have the real happiness.
Те нямат истинско щастие.
You see. And what is that fool's happiness?
И какво е това щастие на глупаците?
Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending.
Ядене, спане, защита и съвокупление.
That is called fool's happiness.
Това се нарича
You see.
щастието на глупаците.
Shvavidra ushtra karai sangstutak purishak pashu. You see. They're like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Svinya, sabaka, svinya, verblut, and ashiol. You see.
Това е щастието на свинете, на камилите, на магаретата, на кучетата.
That's the only Russian words I know.
Това са единствените.
I'm preaching in Russia also now.
Уча руски.
But it's too hard to learn the language. I just learned a few words.
Трудно, само някакви думи знам.
So, this is the great difficulty here in Sofia.
Това е голямата трудност тук в София.
The great difficulty here in this material existence.
Голямата трудност в този материален свят.
If you give the fool the real happiness, he'll say no.
Ако дадеш на глупак истинско щастие, той казва не.
I want the false happiness instead.
Аз искам фалшиво щастие вместо това.
If you give the hog halava in one hand and stool in the other, what will he take?
Ако дадеш на прасе хълва и ескремент в другата ръка, какво ще вземе?
If you try this experiment,
Опитате този експеримент.
take halava in one hand and stool in the other if you dare. Stool in the left hand, of course.
Експерименти в лявата ръка и хълва в дясната.
And offer them to the pig
И ги предложите на едно прасе.
and see which one he goes for.
И вижте
The stool or the halava. You see.
експериментите или хълва.
So this is the difficulty.
Това е трудността.
Instead of going for the halava, we are going for the stool.
Вместо да избираме хълвата, ние избираме.
Isn't it embarrassing?
Не е ли това смущаващо?
Don't you feel embarrassed
Не се ли чувствате така смутени,
that you're going for stool instead of halava?
че отивате за експериментите, а не за хълвата?
I mean, it's really embarrassing to be, a hog when you're actually an eternal spiritual being.
Наистина е смущаващо да си прасе, което всъщност си духовно същество.
By bad association, to be dragged down to the mentality of a hog.
От лошо общуване да получиш менталитета на свиня.
What an embarrassment.
Колко смущаващо.
But don't feel bad.
Не се чувствайте зле.
We're all in the same boat.
Всички сме в една лодка.
We're all eternal spiritual beings who were dragged down to the level of hog.
Всички ние сме духовни същества, които сме снижени до нивото на прасета.
By bad association.
От лошо общуване.
Nobody's trying to put you down.
Никой не се опитва да те...
We're not trying to criticize you or make fun of you.
Не се опитваме да ви критикуваме и да ви иронизираме.
We're just looking at the position that each and every one of us is in right now. That's all we're doing.
Ние просто гледаме позицията, в която всеки се намира.
There was even a governor in Texas called I'm a Hog.
Дори един висш държавен служител.
That was the name of the governor. Hog is a last name, and Ima is a woman's name in America. Ima. It's in the old early days of America. Ima was an American lady, a name for an American lady. Ima. So I'm a Hog. She was the governor of Texas.
Губернатор на Тексас, който каза, че
губернатора на Тексас имал такъв губернатор, който се казва аз съм свиня. Айма му е първото име, което означава аз съм, едно древно такова старо американско име, а Хок му е фамилията. И буквално името му означава аз съм свиня.
Буквалният превод на името на губернатор на Тексас бил аз съм свиня.
So that's where we're all at right now. I'm a Hog.
Всички сме в това положение.
That's where Indra was at too.
В това положение бил Индра.
He was the king of heaven.
Той е бил цар на небесата.
But he was offensive. I think he was offensive towards a sage. He got cursed by a sage, you see.
Но поради това, че оскърбил един светец, той е бил прокълнат от този светец.
Instead of thinking I am Indra, he thought, I'm a hog.
Вместо да мисли аз съм Индра, той си мисли аз съм прасе.
Where's the stool?
Къде е екскремент?
Where's the she-hog?
Къде е женската?
You see, the hog, he has no discrimination in eating or sleeping or mating, no discrimination.
Едно прасе не прави разграничаване какво яде.
I have personally seen in Vrindavan
Аз това го видях лично в Вриндаван.
the hog lying down in the still water in a state of bliss. This is the life.
Прасето лежи в вода с екскременти и се наслаждава. Това е живот.
I got a photograph of it, actually.
Аз имам фотография на това.
In Vrindavan, they have open sewers. When you pass stool in your house, it comes out into a little open ditch on the side of the road.
В Вриндавана там няма канализация и се хвърлят навън.
Instead of underground sewage, they have on the earth's surface.
Вместо подземна канализация, тяхната канализация е на повърхността.
And therefore, in Vrindavan, there's a huge population of hogs.
И в Вриндаван има голяма популация на...
We call them the sanitation engineers.
Ние ги наричаме санитарни инженери.
They go into the open sewage and eat the stool, you see.
Те отиват и сящат екскременти.
So I saw this one hog. After he had had a nice morning of eating stool, he decided in midday, he laid down in the stool and urine water and took a nap.
Аз видях едно прасе, което току-що беше изяло екскрементите и лежеше в...
He was in hog heaven, you see.
И беше в небесата на прасето.
In the stool and urine water.
Лежейки в вода с екскременти.
So, this is our happiness of material existence, our hog heaven, you see, stool and urine water.
Това е нашето щастие в материалния свят, да, с екскременти.
Any human being, if he sees such a thing, you say, oh, flush it immediately, get it out of here, you see.
Един човек, ако види това, ще се отврати.
But the hog, you say, no, don't flush it, save it for me.
Но свинята ще го харесва, не го изхвърли, остави го за мен.
Isn't it gross? But that's our position in the material existence. Instead of wanting to flush away this eating, sleeping, making, and defending, we say, no, save it for me, I want some. We forget where the real nectar is. Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu. And we try to squeeze juice out of this eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Therefore, Krishna, feeling very sorry for our plight, he comes again and again to deliver us. Yada yada hi dharmasha glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam shujamyaham. Krishna comes to deliver us. Personally he comes. He sends his pure devotees also. He sends the spiritual master to save us. So we have to learn how to take advantage of Guru and Vaishnavas, who have come to save us from our predicament. If we don't appreciate them, then we will remain stuck in our stool and urine consciousness. But if we take advantage of the kindness, the loving kindness of Krishna, Guru and Vaishnavas, then we will come out of our stool and urine consciousness. And taste the sweet nectar of Krishna consciousness at every minute. But I can tell you one thing. To give up this stool and urine consciousness and come to Krishna consciousness, you have to be a brave soul. If there's a community of hogs and one hog wants to give up his hog existence and come to a higher consciousness, what will the other hog say? They say, oh, very good, you want to become liberated from hog life, congratulations. Will they say that? No, they say, don't believe those Hare Krishnas, they're a brainwashed cult. Don't you dare listen to them. You stay here with us and eat stool. Remain a hog along with us. How many of you have been encouraged by your friends and family members to be devotees? And how many of you have been discouraged by your friends and family members to be devotees? You see? The hogs don't want if one hog becomes liberated. It's very uncomfortable for them to think that maybe I made a mistake by being a hog. You know what they say in English? They say, misery enjoys company. So they want you to remain as a hog in the company of hogs. So they can feel a little comfort in your association. But are you giving them real comfort if you remain a hog? No, you're not. You're simply reinforcing their ignorance. Therefore, if one actually has compassion upon the poor hog-like population of this planet, one should cast off the hog consciousness. Become Krishna conscious. Actually, Prabhupada said Messiah. He says every member of this movement, he is a Messiah. When you actually, Prabhupada said, anyone who actually takes this process with full seriousness, he is Messiah. He is the savior of the suffering humanity. You see, any devotee.
Той е спасител на страшното човечество, всеки един праводавен.
Man, woman, adult, child, it doesn't matter. Anyone who seriously takes this pathway, he is Messiah.
Всеки, който сериозно се вземе с Христос, той е Месия.
It's like the Christians, they say Jesus is Messiah, he is Savior.
Християните казват Исус е спасител, Месия.
So any person who takes this Krishna conscious movement with complete seriousness,
Всеки, който се вземе с пълна сериозност с този процес на Христос съзнание,
he is also Messiah, he is Savior of this humanity.
той е Месия, той е спасител на човечеството.
So we're asking you, don't be hogs,
Ние ви молим да бъдете прасета,
you become Messiahs.
станете Месии,
You become saviors of the suffering humanity.
станете спасители на страшното човечество.
And taste the bliss of giving bliss to everyone.
И вкусете насладата да давате наслада на всеки.
Taste the bliss of being selfless servitors of everyone.
Вкусете насладата да бъдете безсебични служещи на всеки.
This is the request of the great acharyas to us, hog-like souls.
Това е молбата на великите ачари към нас, които са подобни на прасета.
Come out of your hog consciousness
Излезте от това съзнание на прасета
and become actual messiahs.
и станете истински месии.
So I can ask now if there's any questions.
Сега ще попитам, имате ли въпроси?
Въпросът ми е свързан с това, че по принцип нали, прасетата все пак ще питат какво да правим.
Why don't you ask me in English and he can translate it? Well, you can say it both. You can say to the audience the question and say it to me in English. Yeah. He doesn't need to translate it. You can just say it in, unless there's 3 languages here.
All right.
Is there 3? There's only 2 languages, Bulgarian and English, right?
How many languages?
Is there a third language?
No.
Okay. And you can just ask the question in Bulgarian, then ask it to me in English. Yeah.
Въпросът е, че нали, хората ще кажат, добре, как така без ядене, спане и самозащита и размножаване, нали, в крайна сметка най-малкото, поне друго, поне трябва да ядем. Така че въпросът е малко тип Арджуна, нали, обаче нали, каква алтернатива даваме на това? So my question is that people would say, okay, what will we do if we live behind eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and at least we should eat something. So
We give them prasadam, yes.
yeah. So what is our alternative?
Instead of eating like hog, eating food not offered to Krishna, you take prasadam. We don't stop eating, but you transcendentalize your eating.
Ние не спираме да ядеме, ние просто трансцендентализираме нашето ядене, като предлагаме храната на Кришна.
Instead of indiscriminately having sex in so many different ways, like they have sex in this way, that way, you know, 1,000,001 different ways trying to enjoy, just have sex for having Krishna conscious children, that's all.
Вместо да правим непозволен секс, както правят всички останали, ние правим секс в Кришна съзнание, за да се дадат Кришна осъзнати деца.
And instead of sleeping 26 hours a day,
Вместо да спиме 26 часа денонощи,
just take what you need to keep your body fit, that's all.
ние просто взимаме толкова, колкото да поддържаме тялото си.
And then, if in this way, if you're satisfied, then your defense will be, you can defend your Krishna consciousness. That's all you have to defend, really, is your Krishna consciousness.
Това, което трябва да защитавате, е вашето Кришна съзнание.
You don't have to defend your false sense of proprietorship.
Вие не трябва да защитавате вашето фалшиво чувство за собственост.
So in this way, you can eat, sleep, mate, and defend in a transcendental way.
Така че вие можете да ядете, да спите, да се самопоправяте и да се защитавате по един трансцендентален начин.
Yeah. Next question.
Следващия въпрос.
И все пак това явно не може да стане с магическа пръчка. прасето и да го изкъпеш и да го сложиш в цирка, то може да научи някакви неща, но природата му остава. Тоест, това е, с две думи, това е много дълъг процес. И като човек върви по пътя на този процес, неминуемо се случват грешки. Иска да достигне съвършенство, но това не може да стане веднага. Какво да правим? Търпение.
It's a long process. One cannot do it for one night with a magic bow. What do we need? Patience, maybe?
Yes.
Да.
But not too much patience. You must have patience, and you must also have determination and enthusiasm. You should be impatient also. That I should not postpone my Krishna consciousness. Death can come at any time, isn't it? Today in the airplane, I was a little surprised. I'd never seen this happen before. I've been flying for years. We were on our way. We were over the mountains, flying over the Alps, and an airplane came right under us. I looked out the window, and an airplane just came right under the window, that way. I mean, it had crossed right under us. I mean, right. I looked out the window. Right under there was an airplane. I was going, wow, what happened if they'd been a little bit higher? We would have had a mid-air collision, over the Alps. And I was thinking, thank you, Krishna. Thank you that I'm still alive here, so that I can at least have one more day to preach your glories in this world. This world is desperately in need of Krishna consciousness. And my dear Lord, you've so kindly given me one more opportunity to preach your glories, you see. So we have to realize that time is limited. At any minute, everything can be finished. So we have to we have to maximize our Krishna consciousness as much as possible at every minute. So that when death comes knocking at our door, we will not be defeated. That we can step on the head of death like Dhruva. Okay, death, now I will use you in the service of Krishna. So don't be too patient. You should be very impatient about those things which are standing in the way of your Krishna consciousness. Whatever bad habits you may have, you should be very impatient about them. If you have some bad habit, you should say, get out. You're not welcome here in my house, the house of my heart anymore. Get out and don't ever come back. Patient means, even if I don't see Krishna face to face, eye to eye in the next 10 minutes, I still don't give up chanting. That's what patient means. But patient does not mean that I will patiently go on doing nonsense. Yeah. Yeah.
question is how is possible to be in the mood of Messiah and in the same time to be in the mood of servant of the servant of the servant?
Yes, this is a very good question. The answer is given by Srila Rupa Goswami. It is described by Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar Devotion. Rupa Goswami says, I am trying to spread this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. That is Messiah consciousness, you see. And then he says, but at the same time I feel completely unfit to do so. That means he's thinking, well, I'm not really anything but the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That's what I really am. So one should utilize his full energy to try to spread this movement. That's a fact. Preaching, going on Harinam, distributing books, making devotees, writing articles, offering arati, cleaning the temple, working hard to make money and donating money to the Krishna consciousness movement. In so many ways, painting for beautiful paintings of Krishna. This is Messiah consciousness, wanting to spread the movement, you see. But at the same time feeling, well, actually, what I am nothing. Simply let me be an instrument in the hands of my Guru Maharaj, that's all. So after Rupa Goswami explains like this, that I am simply trying to spread this movement all over the world, although I feel completely unfit to do so, then Prabhupada said, this should be the attitude of all the members of the Krishna consciousness movement. We see that devotees have a hard time balancing those two moods. They think, yes, I am Messiah, but they forgot how to be a humble servant. Those devotees, they may be a big preacher for some time, and then they're off in the lap of a prostitute after a while. And we see others who say, well, you know, they become so artificially meek that they can't preach to anybody. They don't want to quote, impose, unquote, Krishna consciousness on anyone. So, if you go to either extreme, it's not good. You have to have a proper balance. You have to be enthusiastic to push forward this movement. At the same time, feel you're completely unfit, you're an unqualified nobody. Prabhupada said, next to my Guru Maharaj, I am nothing. So every devotee should feel, I am nothing. My spiritual master is everything and I am nothing.
Гуру Махарадж, всичко аз съм нищо.
But let me be his instrument. Let me be totally surrendered to him as his instrument so that through me he can spread this Krishna conscious movement.
Но нека да бъда някакъв инструмент, така че чрез мен той да разпространява това движение за Кришна съзнание.
Just as Arjun was an instrument for Krishna to defeat the Kuru dynasty.
Така както Арджуна е бил инструмент на Кришна да победи тази Куру.
Every devotee should be an instrument in the hands of the previous acharyas for pushing forward this movement.
Всеки преданен трябва да бъде инструмент на предишния ачаря за разпространяване на това движение.
That let the previous acharyas utilize me for pushing forward this movement.
Нека предишните ачари да ме използват за разпространение на това движение.
I'm fully surrendered to their will, just like puppet.
Аз напълно ще се отдам на тяхната воля като една кукла.
May they utilize me for pushing forward this movement.
Нека да ме използват за разпространение на това движение.
This is the proper move.
Това е правилното настроение.
But one should desire to take that position of preacher.
И ако някой желае да вземе това положение на проповедник,
Why?
защо?
Let's see, ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesha vidhashyati bhaktim mai parankrit va mam mevashatya shangshayaha. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service unto me is guaranteed, Krishna says. And at the end he will come back to me.
И защо да го правим? Защото Кришна казва за този, който разпространява това знание на другите, неговото Кришна знание е гарантирано и той ще се върне при мен.
Nachatasman manusheshu bhaktim what is that? Nachatasman manusheshu I'm just not forgetting the Sanskrit, but Krishna says in this world there is no servant more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Кришна казва, този свят няма слуга, който да е по-скъп за мен.
So, do you want to be dear to Krishna?
Искате да бъдете скъпи на Кришна?
Who would like to be dear to Krishna? Yes. One person only. Oh, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Well, Krishna says there's no one more dear to me than one who preaches. So it is not a selfish desire to want to be a preacher. It is simply a desire to please Krishna in the best possible way. It doesn't mean you should become proud. I am a great preacher. I am Messiah. No. I am nothing but a servant of my spiritual master. That's all. But may he utilize me to push forward this movement. May I be fully surrendered to him that he can utilize me to the max for pushing forward this movement. From this very moment until my last dying breath, may I simply be an instrument in the hands of my spiritual master. This is the moon. Humble servant, preacher. That is actual Messiah, you see. We want everyone to be like that. Humble servant preachers. Next question.
Наш дълг е да проповядваме по този начин, да удовлетворим духовния учител от Кришна. Но в лекцията, нали, както се каза, ние проповядваме на хора, за които невежеството е блаженство. И как може да проповядваме на такива хора?
It's our duty to preach, to fulfill our Gurudev, but we have to preach to people who are in ignorance.
Невежеството е блаженство за тези хора.
For them, ignorance is bliss.
Как да проповядваме на тези хора?
How can we preach to these people?
Yes, this is a very good question. Thank you very much. They think that ignorance is bliss. If you give them Krishna consciousness, they will think Krishna consciousness is ignorance. And say, what is this nonsense? Krishna consciousness, get out of here. So how will you convince the hog that his hog life is miserable? This is the same thing that happened with Indra, was cursed to become a hog. They came from the heavenly planets to get their king back. I forget who came, some great personalities came, maybe Brahma, I forget who, but they came to get Indra back from his hog life. Indra, what are you doing here living as a hog? You are the king of heaven. Why are you here living in this pig pen? He said, what is this heaven? Don't you see I have this stool here? And I have all these female hogs here also. My mother is here, I can have sex with her. My sisters are here, I can have sex with them. You see, the hog has no discrimination for who to have sex with. You see, simply sex. You see. So he's saying, what are you talking about heaven? I'm in heaven. This is real heaven. They couldn't convince Indra to give it up. But then when the farmer came with the knife to cut the hog's throat, to slaughter him from eating his body, you see, then he came to his senses. I thought the farmer loved me. He gave me so much hog food. But now he's coming to slaughter me, to eat my body. I don't know what this heaven is, but I think it must be better than being a hog. I will go back to heaven, whatever it is. So how we would convince these hogs? They're thinking, I can have sex with anybody I want. I can smoke anything I want. I can drink anything I want. I can inject anything I want. I can do anything I want. You people are telling me no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication and gambling. You must be... You Hare Krishnas are crazy. You see, that's what they think. So how we convince them? Well, I can tell you this. Vishaya vinivartante niraharashadehina rashavarshang visyo pasya parang vishvanavartate. That's the answer. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment. Though the taste for sense gratification remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste. He is what? He is fixed in consciousness. So you simply have to give them the higher taste. And then they'll easily give up the stool and urine. You got to give them the halava. Feed them a lot of halava. You have to give them the higher taste. But there's one catch here. How are you going to give him a higher taste if you don't have the higher taste yourself?
Как може да им дадете повече вкус, ако вие самите нямате повече вкус?
That's the catch.
Това е хубаво.
You have to give them the higher taste.
Трябва да им дадете повече вкус.
You see, I can distribute the higher taste
Аз мога да разпространя повече вкус,
because I have it.
защото го имам.
So if you want to be successful in distributing the higher taste,
Така, ако искате да бъдете успешни в разпространението на повече вкус,
take the higher taste
вземете
that I'm giving you,
който аз ви давам.
and then you'll be empowered to distribute it.
И тогава ще бъдете упълномощени да го разпространявате.
But do you think, what is this so-called higher taste that this character named Sankarshan Das is giving?
Но ако си мислите, какъв е този повече вкус, който Санкаршан даст?
I don't know. Sounds like a bunch of hype to me.
Звучи нещо, което не е само.
You see? Then what do you have?
Това какво имат?
You have nothing.
Нямат нищо.
How will you convince them?
Как ще ги убедите?
You yourself are not even convinced.
Вие самите не сте убедени.
This reminds me of my godbrother Brahmatirtha Prabhu.
Това ми напомня на моя духовен брат Brahmatirtha Prabhu.
Before he joined this movement, he was a worker for the Peace Corps, the U.S. Peace Corps.
Преди да се присъедини към движението, той беше работеше за корпуса на мира.
He had the good fortune of being stationed by the U.S. Peace Corps in an area known as West Bengal, India.
Той имаше щастието да бъде член на корпуса на мира в Западен Бенгал.
And he came to our temple in Mayapur and visited, and the devotees sent him in for a darshan with Prabhupada.
И той отиде в нашия храм и там и преводите му дадоха да има даршан с Прабхупад.
And this boy, Bob Cohen, he asked Prabhupada, he said, well, Prabhupada, how can I convince them of Krishna consciousness?
И това момче Боб Коен ги попита как Прабхупад как да ги убеди.
Prabhupada said, first you be convinced,
И Прабхупад му каза, първо ти стани убеден.
and then convince others.
И тогава убеждавай другите.
So I can tell you this insider secret.
Мога да ви кажа тази тайна.
To the degree that you are convinced,
В степента, в която вие сте убедени,
you will be able to convince others.
ще бъдете в състояние да убеждавате другите.
And if you are finding you're not able to convince others,
И ако откриете, че не сте в състояние да убеждавате другите,
then you should take a very serious introspective look at your own heart
трябва много сериозно да погледнете интроспективно
and see how is it that you are lacking in conviction.
и да видите защо ви липсва това убеждение.
Look deep inside your heart for those doubts
Погледнете дълбоко в сърцето си тези съмнения
and meditate on Krishna as Madhusudana,
и медитирайте върху Кришна като Мадхусудана,
the killer of the demons of doubt.
убийца на демона на съмнението.
You can pray to that Madhusudana,
Може да се молите на Мадхусудана.
that my dear Lord, please destroy these demons of doubt that are lingering in my heart.
Мои скъпи Господи, убий демона на съмнението в
To the extent that you are free from doubt,
до степента, в която вие сте освободени от съмнение.
to that extent and only to that extent will you be convinced of Krishna consciousness.
Само до тази степен вие ще бъдете убедени в Кришна съзнание.
And to the extent that you are convinced of Krishna consciousness,
И в степента, в която вие сте убедени в Кришна съзнание,
Krishna will empower you to convince others.
Кришна ще ви упълномощи да убеждавате другите.
Therefore, read the books and distribute the books.
Затова четете книгите и разпространявайте книгите.
Don't just distribute the books.
Не просто разпространявайте книгите,
Read the books.
четете книгите.
Understand perfectly well this knowledge.
Разберете съвършено това знание.
Become a living embodiment of what is written in these books.
Станете живо въплъщение на това, което пишете.
And if you do so, you'll be able to convince the entire world of Krishna consciousness.
И ако направите това, вие ще сте в състояние да убедите целия свят Кришна съзнание.
Next question.
Следващия.
Човек може да има много съмнение, но в едно нещо никой не се съмнява, че света върви по една наклонена плоскост и отива към гибел, включително и тези зонови дупки и други неща, които съществуват. Как да използваме това нещастие в проповядане, защото в крайна сметка наистина много скоро и тези, които както каза той, невежество и блаженството, и те няма да могат да го изпитват. Защото светът просто отива деградира. Съвсем правдиво. Как да използваме проповядането?
People have many doubts, but they are convinced now that the things are not going well nowadays, that the world is in front of big crisis. How to use this point in the process of preaching?
Distributing books. And distribute books as many as possible, saying this material world is not a place that we can find true happiness. Read these books. Take this opportunity to flood Bulgaria with Prabhupada's books.
Разпространявайте книги и обясняйте на хората, че този материален свят не е място за щастие, а е място за страдание.
This is a great preaching opportunity, you see.
Това е голяма възможност за проповядване.
Devotees are not depressed by the financial crisis.
Преонаните не са депресивни от финансовата криза.
Devotees are enlivened. Wow, this is great.
Преонаните са така ентусиазирани. Това е чудесно.
Now it's going to be 10 times easier to preach.
Сега ще е много по-лесно да проповядваме.
We've been trying to convince them the material world is miserable, and they didn't believe it because there's a boom economy, boom, 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 boom.
Когато имаше бум в икономиката, беше много трудно да ги убедиме, че...
Like the economy was like a big balloon, bigger, 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 bigger. Wow, they can just keep being bigger forever.
Икономиката беше като един голям балон и ние си мислихме, те си мислиха, че може да става постоянно по-голям.
Is there such a thing as a balloon that can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger forever? Not in the material world. In the spiritual world, there is such a balloon, actually. What is that balloon? Krishna consciousness. It can keep getting bigger and bigger and never stop, you see. In fact, that ever-expanding balloon is confirmed by a great incarnation of the Lord named Rishabhadev. He confirms that Krishna Bhakti is like an ever-expanding balloon. Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. That spiritual happiness that goes on increasing unlimitedly forever. But I challenge you to find any balloon in this material world that can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. There is no balloon here that can do that. I don't care how powerful it is and how big it is. Even the USA balloon. You see, there comes a point when it gets too big. And pow, it bursts. You see. So it's a great opportunity to preach. It's a very enlivening thing for a preacher to see things like this happen. Wow, now my preaching is so much easier. It's a fantastic opportunity. But aren't you afraid about your eating? How will you eat? The economy is not booming. How am I going to eat? Eko bahunam yovidadati kamam. Krishna feeds everyone. He doesn't ask, what is it, a boom economy or is it a depression going on? Krishna doesn't have to worry about the economy. He just keeps feeding everybody.
знае дали има бум на икономиката или икономиката е в депресия, той храни всички.
He has unlimited power to feed everybody, no problem.
Той има безгранични сили да храни всеки.
He doesn't have to worry about the value of the dollar versus the yen.
Не трябва да се обяснява за курса на долара към йената.
He just keeps feeding everyone as a loving father, that's all.
Той като един баща продължава да храни всички.
Next question.
Следващия въпрос.
На мен ми възникнаха няколко въпроса, не знам дали ще може да ги знам. I have several questions here.
Just give me one at a time.
Alright. Should I say in Bulgarian?
Yeah, say in Bulgarian first. Yeah.
Първият ми въпрос е свързан с най-първият ми въпрос. Добре, ние само това ли правим? Трансцендентираме тези 4 дейности и трансцендентираме нещо друго, не добавяме ли към тези неща, ние добавяме ли нещо?
Okay.
Ядене, спане, самосвите и размножаване, като ние ядем прасадам и така нататък. So, about this four principles of material existence, four activities in material existence. The sleeping, eating, mating, and
Yes, yes.
So you explained how we transcend those, how we make them transcendental. But is that all we do? We only make this transcendental, or we add something more to that?
Do we do what?
Do we
Add?
Yeah.
We add something else? Yes. Of course. Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu. You eat, sleep, mate, and defend, and whatever is most favorable for your Krishna consciousness. But your main activity is Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Krishna. How much was Parikshit Maharaj worried about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending? He simply sat and heard Bhagavatam, that's all. So what time is the Bhagavatam class in the morning?
We haven't decided yet.
It hasn't been decided yet.
Well, let's decide right now so we can tell everyone.
Да се реши сега, за да кажем на всички.
Утре от работещите ще дойде ли някой утре сутринта? Един, значи да го направим от 6:30. Да, не, той дигнаха ръка, да. Някой има желание, но трябва да бъде на работа, може да се изтегли леко.
Сърбална, колко си?
Вие вече и гласувате.
Колко? Колко ти?
Утре ще го направим за утре.
So what's the best time to have it then?
Вие рано ли ви? Или сте на работа? 6:30, ако почне.
Само мога да че не виж отиде от 8.
Може от 8, 9 ще бъде. Добре, 8 тогава. 8 удобно ли? 8-9 трябва да бъдат на работа. Това е по-добре в 6:30 да направим утре, а нека да оставим след като се върнат от...
The decision?
Тогава ще да уточним вече.
No decision yet?
Да.
What are the choices? What's the best time to have class tomorrow? Narada Muni?
6:30, 8. 6:30 or 8.
6:30 till 8?
Yes.
6:30 or 8.
6:30 or 8? What's better for everybody here? How many people come at 6:30 and how many come at 8 o'clock? Let's see the 6:30 hands. Who would like to have it at 6:30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and what about 8? No, raise your hand only once. Oh. No, if you come either way?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The best way is to say, well, let's see here. No, 8 o'clock again?
6:30, the class will be very short because darshan will be...
Huh?
6:30
What time is the darshan?
I think 7:15.
7:30? It's all right, an hour class in the morning is okay. All right, so we'll have it for 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow morning in Bhagavatam class. 6:30, everyone try to be here at 6:30 if at all possible.
Well,
Huh?
I'll be here anyway, but I believe that for most people it will be.
You think 8 is better?
That's my opinion.
But they have to, how many people will come at 8 o'clock tomorrow? Let's count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many at 6:30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a draw.
So we can have 2 classes tomorrow morning.
Have 2 classes. That's the spirit. I can give one to Mataji, you'll give the other. Guru Mata will give the other one. So how will we decide? How will we finally set this up? Mataji, you tell us. 6:30 or 8?
Well, last time also we were trying to have it at 6:30. We would see only 1 or 2 people here.
What works out the best?
I cannot say. It depends on who goes to work and cannot come.
How many people would have to miss the 8 o'clock class because of going to work in the morning? Let's see a show of hands. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. And how many people would miss the 6:30 because it's too early in the morning? None. How many people will miss 6:30 because it's too early to get up for them? They can't get their sleepy head out of the bed in the morning.
4:30. Everybody here.
Yeah. I think we'll encourage early rising because early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that way, Bhakti Evo can come for class. You see. So we'll have it at 6. I want to have it at 6:30. Everyone should learn to rise early, not to sleep like a dog. Huh? Or a cat, or a dog, whatever. So 6:30 a.m. Those who want the full nectar should.
Those who really raise their hand for 6:30, they should be here.
That's right. All the 6:30 vadis must be here now. You've raised your hand. For you, we're doing now. You must reciprocate. And Narada Muni has invited everyone for Mangalarti at 4:30, and I'm also standing by his invitation.
Mangalarti I wouldn't encourage so much because the neighbors would get disturbed.
No, we can have a whisper kirtan. Okay. If we have a big crowd here, we'll just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Don't worry, everyone's welcome at 4:30. We can pack the place at 4:30 a.m. No problem. Okay then, so we'll stop here, and we thank everyone very much for attending tonight, the Bhagavad Gita as it is class. Rajavijay Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sankarshan Prabhu ki jai.